Hey gamers, Gecko here. Well, don't I look like an idiot? Unfortunately for me, but fortunate for the entire FGC, several things that people expected to be hearing about at EVO have been announced a little bit early. Both Invincible Versus and Street Fighter 6 have given out some very big news regarding the state of their games and their upcoming characters. Let's start with the big one. Street Fighter 6 just released the Sagat gameplay teaser. In this, they obviously show Sagat's signature moves, as well as how he's going to play in Street Fighter 6. I haven't actually watched it yet, I'm saving it for tonight's stream. I'm not going to be able to dissect and analyze it that much, but it should be fun watching the big man do the big punch and the big fireballs. It's Sagat, how crazy can they get? This was extremely unexpected. Street Fighter 6 is known for just putting out things seemingly whenever they feel like it, but with EVO so close around the corner, people expected it to, well, be at EVO. Me included. Speaking of things people didn't expect, Invincible Versus, the tag fighting game that was announced not so long ago, is going to be playable at the event. Along with this, they announced the new character of Rexplode, one of only 3 Invincible characters people know about. No flame. As well as another character that's going to be coming to the game and be playable at the event. Considering the fact that everything we've heard about the game made it seem like it was in alpha, the fact that players are going to be able to play the game this early on and with 6 separate characters is really cool. Remember, 2XQ took like 5 years to get to that point. No flame. A little bit of flame. And of course, there was the article going around about the rumored cancelled Guilty Gear game. But if you want to hear more about that one, unfortunately, you're going to have to go to the stream, because I got a lot of things to say about it. I don't want to waste them here. We're going to be streaming later tonight over on Twitch. Link is down in the description. We're going live basically when this video comes out, so I hope to see you there. With all this news in such quick succession, though, it leaves one very important question. What the fuck is going on? The Invincible Versus news is not that shocking, considering the fact that it doesn't have a nice way to squeeze into the event. People expected something to be announced around EVO from their accounts, and that is exactly what happened. It being announced to be at EVO is a little bit of a surprise, but considering the fact that XKI devs are working on it, as well as notable community figures, it makes sense that they could pull a couple of strings and get it at the event. In hindsight, this is a very simple announcement, and I'm amazed that I didn't see it coming earlier. However, the Street Fighter 1 is very interesting, and it leaves quite a few question marks. EVO, like I said in the main channel video, is like Christmas for fighting game players. All the big things happen there. Capcom, being one to normally just announce things on their own, still try to have something when it comes to EVO. Every single one of the developers have something to show. So what gives? This leaves me with 2 possible theories. One that is extremely hopeful for the future of Capcom, and one which, well, it's not a dire future, but it's going to be a lot less interesting. Let's go with the depressing and nihilistic one first, shall we? Capcom is trying to separate themselves from other fighting game events as much as possible. Capcom is known to have big showcases at gaming shows. Summer Games Fest and the Game Awards are always a big showing for them, showing off the new Resident Evil that comes out every year because they're just so spoiled. So it's not uncommon for them to show things at these game shows. However, they rarely ever show things at fighting game events. Apart from EVO and specifically Capcom ran events, Capcom doesn't really show off anything to do with Street Fighter. It's normally just dropped randomly on a Tuesday afternoon, around midnight-ish. Kind of like how the Sagat trailer was. This trend of behavior could lead people to believe that Capcom wants to draw themselves away from specifically big fighting game tournaments. Going to a super major no longer means that you're probably going to hear anything from Capcom. It's all up in the air. If you want to stay in touch with Street Fighter news from now on, you have to just be listening to the official channels. Tuning into EVO does not mean you will get news. I'm not entirely sure why they would do this. Maybe it's so they have more control over the things they show, the allotted time that they get, and what they want to do. as well as allowing them to put more things into their own showcases. As you may know, Capcom has showcases. So does Bandai, so does ArcSys now. So tying themselves away from events like EVO allows them more freedom to do what they want. It's a possibility. Is it a likely one? Maybe. But there is another theory. Capcom would look pretty bad if they were the only ones to show up to the event completely empty-handed. With so many eyes on EVO, you want to make sure that you are announcing something. It's free publicity at the end of the day. Not just for Street Fighter, but maybe something else you're working on. Capcom has been known in the past to have 2 games running side by side. Generally, Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom. Street Fighter 4, we had Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Street Fighter 5, we had Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Street Fighter 6... well, the door's a little bit open now, isn't it? Marvel vs. Capcom doesn't seem like it's going to be lightly. I don't want to get your hopes up for that. Marvel is obviously working with ArcSys on Marvel Tokon. Having 2 competing Marvel vs. games would be a recipe for disaster. And no offense, the last time Capcom and ArcSys went toe-to-toe in the versus game scene, it wasn't pretty. But Marvel vs. Capcom is not the only Capcom versus game there ever was. Capcom and SNK have been getting pretty chummy recently. So, it may be that Capcom is announcing something bigger. Something more along the lines of Capcom vs. SNK. Now, I don't want to say that this is a guarantee. Again, this is just the hopeful version of the scenario. But I think these 2 diverging paths could show 2 separate futures for fighting games and fighting game events. On the negative path, we could be going down a more isolated route. One where events that are run by the developers are the only place where you will be getting the news. And big events like EVO don't have as much going on. On the other one, we have the era of cooperation. Not only are big events still at EVO, but companies are branching out to work with each other. Relighting old flames. Yes, for profit. Come on, the companies, for fuck's sake. But cooperation nonetheless. Also, we might be having a 5th tag game! Capcom, generally being the leader in the fighting game scene, tends to steer the ship most of the time. Or you could say the last generation definitely had multiple hands on the wheel, with Street Fighter 6 being as big as it is. I would not be surprised if other companies follow in Capcom's footsteps and see what they do. So hopefully this early announcement is just a teaser present. Something that gets us really excited for the big one on the big day. But there's no guarantee that there is going to be a big one on the big day. What do you think though? Let me know down in the comment section below, or maybe come over to the stream to tell me. We're going to be talking about a bunch of different fighting game things and looking more in depth at the trailers that I talked about today. So it's going to be fun. I hope to see you all there. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye!